With the exception of one game tonight, week 1 of the college football season has come and gone. It didn't disappoint, as there were a number of exciting games that took place. There were great performances, but also some not great performances as well. Today, I'll be sharing my winners and losers from the first weekend of the season. Before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'm posting videos every day during the college football season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. Kicking off today's video is arguably the biggest winner in Colorado. They went on the road and knocked off number 17 TCU 45-42. This was quite the upset, considering the Buffaloes were a 3-touchdown underdog. I already talked about Colorado's performance a lot in my video from the other day, so make sure you go check that out if you haven't yet. But what a performance from the Buffs. I was wrong on Colorado and with Deion Sanders, so Colorado is easily the biggest winner from week 1. After knocking off the Utes in week 1 last season, Florida traveled to Utah where they took them on for a rematch. The Utes were without quarterback Cameron Rising, so a lot of people thought Florida had a chance in this game. Safe to say, that wasn't the case. Florida lost by only 13 points, so I guess you could technically say they were in this one, but this game never felt close. Overall as a team, Florida rushed for only 13 yards on 21 attempts. I get that Graham Mertz threw for over 300 yards with a passing touchdown, but his QBR was 30.4. He had an awful game, and I don't know what Florida's going to do this season with him as their quarterback. I feel like it's going to be a long season for the Gators, because if you can't beat Utah's backup quarterback, things are going to get ugly once you enter SEC play. It's not often that you have a team ranked number 8 in the country as a winner, but what Florida State did to LSU certainly qualifies them. They took down the number 5 team in the country by 21 points. Again, I talked more about Florida State in depth on my video on them last night, so if you want to go check out that video, make sure to do so as well. But I'm high on Florida State after this victory, and I definitely think they could be a playoff team. Earlier in the video, I talked about Florida State being a winner. Well, on the other side of that game, you have LSU, who is clearly a loser. They were the number 5 team in the country, and they lost by 21 points. They were also outscored 31-7 in the second half, and the only reason it wasn't a shutout was because they had a touchdown in the last couple minutes of the game. At the end of the first half, LSU was actually in the lead, and they looked like they were in position to win this game. But for some reason, they completely forgot how to play football in the second half, and what a disaster it was for them. I'm not sure where LSU goes the rest of the season, but losing in week 1 the way they did is certainly not ideal. We didn't even get to the Saturday slate, and Nebraska was already a loser. They lost by 3 points on a game-winning field goal to Minnesota. This game wasn't pretty, but it's a game that Nebraska really should have won. They were in control in the 4th and final quarter, but had costly turnovers that ultimately lost them the game. Now, I wasn't expecting Nebraska to be competing for the Big Ten title or anything like that this season, but I definitely thought they would go away from everything that they've sucked at the last couple of seasons. Turns out, they're still horrific in one-score games. I have Fresno State as a winner in a game that a lot of people probably didn't even know went down. They went on the road to Purdue, where they were an underdog, and pulled off the 4-point victory. This was a very exciting back and forth game, but Fresno State took the lead in the final minutes. Mikey Keene threw for over 360 yards with 4 passing touchdowns, and overall, I thought this was a very impressive showing by Fresno State. I get why some people might not be too impressed, as beating Purdue isn't all that great of a resume booster, but considering Fresno State is a group of 5 team with a brand new quarterback, going on the road and playing a team like Purdue is no easy task. I know there were some pretty big wins this week, but when it comes to being an underdog, Texas State had by far the biggest win. They went on the road and knocked off Baylor by 11 points. Coming into the contest, Baylor was a 28-point favorite, so the books were expecting them to win by 4 touchdowns, and they ended up losing by 11 points for essentially a 40-point swing. I also saw some stat out there that Texas State had the second biggest turnover of any team in college football this season. They picked up the second most players in the transfer portal, so this was an entirely new looking team than last year's squad. I get that Baylor isn't expected to be as good as they've been in years past, but this is still a pretty damn good team that Texas State went to work on. TJ Finley threw for 300 yards with 3 touchdowns and added a score on the ground as well. We're probably not going to be hearing a whole lot about Texas State the rest of the season here on my channel, so I want to give them their flowers for this impressive victory. Before I get to my other winners and losers, here's how you can make the 2023 college football season even more exciting. You can actually win money by watching college football games thanks to Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is excited to give me this exclusive offer for my YouTube subscribers. Use promo code Harris to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 if you sign up. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game. I mean, take a look at this. I already won this past weekend, winning $500 off a $25 pick'em. You can pick at least 2 players and choose as many as 5 from every game. The more you choose and get right, the more you win. So if you deposit $50, they'll add $50 to your account. If you deposit $100, they'll add $100 of free money. Consider this as my personal gift to you for being an awesome subscriber. So if you'd like to win money this college football season, make sure to download the Underdog Fantasy app and use promo code Harris for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Man, I really should not have said anything about Texas Tech, apparently. In a couple of videos this offseason, I talked about Texas Tech being a sleeper in the Big 12 that could be one of the more surprising teams in all of college football. Well, they're certainly surprising alright, as they fell on the road to Wyoming in overtime. Early on, it looked like Texas Tech was going to put this game out of reach. They led 17-0 at the end of the first quarter, but they allowed Wyoming to slowly come back, and this game ultimately went into overtime. Texas Tech still had their chances, but Wyoming got the final laugh as they walked it off. With Texas Tech now having to face Oregon this weekend, there's a chance they can be 0-2, and their season already is going to be shot. This was a game I was really looking forward to, and I had no idea which way it was going to go, but North Carolina showed they're the better team as they knocked off South Carolina 31-17. This was a pretty close game at the half, as the Tar Heels led by only 3 points, but they outscored the Gamecocks 14-3 in the second half. Drake May had a pretty solid performance as he threw for just under 300 yards with 2 passing touchdowns. Everyone's going to be talking about North Carolina's offense in 2023, but it was their defense that won them this game. As I mentioned, they held the Gamecocks to only 3 points in the second half. As a team, the Tar Heels had 9 sacks on defense and 16 tackles for loss. I think I saw this on the college football Reddit page, so I don't have this in front of me, so the numbers aren't going to be exact, but I think the Tar Heels in just this game alone nearly had the same amount of sacks they did in all of 2022. Going to the other side of this game, South Carolina is a big loser. I was high on them entering the season, as I actually had them inside my top 25. They had a couple of impressive wins to close out the 2022 season, so I thought they would build on that. And again, in the first half, it was looking like they would, as they were right in it with North Carolina. But in the second half, they just completely fell apart. Now, I'm not going to blame Spencer Rattler too much or give him too much crap. I mean, he did complete 30 passes for 350 yards and he didn't throw an interception. It was his offensive line that couldn't protect him at all. Because I mean, you can only do so much on offense when you have no time to do anything. Tulane had a dream season in 2022 and they carried over to 2023 with a very impressive 20-point victory over South Alabama. A lot of people probably see the score and don't think anything of it, but this was a really good South Alabama team last year. There's a reason Tulane was only favored by 4 or so points. A lot of people thought this was going to be a close game, and Tulane pretty much put this out of reach by halftime. Well, those are my 10 winners and losers from week 1. Who do you think the biggest winner is from the weekend? And who do you think the biggest loser was? Or was there a team that didn't crack this video that should have been on here? Whoever it is, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos every day during the season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.